Hello, everyone, and welcome in to Kentucky Road to Zero. It is the 0th route in Kentucky. It's also now a river, it would appear. Hello, welcome in. We are going back to Kentucky Route Zero today. Last time, we toured a whiskey bottling plant that was full of glowing Technicolor skeletons who divide by road. Can you divide by asphalt? Let's find out. But the glowing Technicolor skeletons who were making whiskey out of or using corpse caskets and also gang pressing people into debt bondage through what appears to be a strong metaphor for alcoholism. And Conway, our initial protagonist, seems to have fallen a little bit off the wagon and is drinking again. What a bummer. But we still have a delivery to make, and we still have time to find out what is happening on the Echo River, which I'm still personally not clear whether or not is the route or not, or if it's just kind of connected to the route, but it appears to be an underground sea. So we're going back to Sunless Sea, everyone. Welcome. We're sailing on the Echo River. But yeah, I think with that, I'm just gonna jump on back in it. Some people, I would admit that there's a lot of subtext in this game, but Conway's narrative is not particularly buried. I think not all of it is subtext, because Conway is explicitly, in this case, falling off the wagon. Yeah. I don't think this game writer ignores subtext. I think this game writer ignored subtext there to make a point. And I like it. I like that. Like, this is a good, genuine conversation about the use of the narrative in this game, and I like that. But it's time to boat. It really is very Sunless Sea in a lot of ways here, in a connection that I never made, because the first time I played this, I didn't know what Sunless Sea was. I sure talk too much. Everyone on this river does. The problem is that we listen twice as much as that. We're only telling you half the stories we hear. I don't know who's talking. Okay, so it's Will, or whatever his name is. Kate told me that I ought to have been a photographer. She says, you have an uncanny way of having been in the place at the time the thing... The game is a little loud. Thank you. Let me know how that is. You have an uncanny way of having been in the place at the time the thing happened there, and that's the hardest part of taking a photograph anyway. Thank you. Nice of her to say, but it isn't true. Though I know just about every story on this river. Most of them I've picked up second, third, or fourth hand, and so on. Listening. See? Now, I know what you're gonna ask, so I'm gonna answer it. Yes, I'm sure they're all true. I personally believe a story gets more true as it's tossed around from brain to brain and the whole community brings their insight to bear on the brittle facts of experience. There are a few Echo River stories I witnessed directly. I saw that big owl migration pass through. You might have heard about that. I was there when the old train station flooded. I saw the ghost of Stephen Bishop brew up a batch of white lightning on a raft. Or anyway, I talked to a few sailors who'd recently crossed paths with him, and I suspect sampled his wares. One night, I was working on the Mucky Mammoth. We picked up a gaggle of passengers headed down to a mail drop by the silo of Late Reflections. I knew a couple of them in passing, a pair of traveling musicians whom I often encountered on the river. The others were strangers to me at the time. A young woman, small boy, and an old man whose name I didn't catch. Oh, and a smelly old dog. We docked at the gas station so the Mammoth could refuel. You know, just the floating gas station barge. Ezra followed Johnny and Junebug into the gas station. If you listen closely, you could still hear the dying gasps of Captain Father Pizza Balla's bones. Oh, sorry, Captain Father. What a wreck that game was for a stream. I love it, but not a great stream game. We got it close. I usually find this place upriver. Everybody's on the lake tonight. Running on fumes. Yeah, it's this little game I play. Try to get the needle all the way down before I fill it back up. Like playing chicken with the fuel gauge. Sounds ridiculous, right? Sounds fun. Take it where you can get it, right? Anyway, it's nice to see you two. Most of my regular passengers have gotten held up elsewhere in their journey tonight. It's that storm, I think. Watching Ezra sprint past. Look at him go! That kid's got a lot of energy. It's gotta be past his bedtime or something, right? I don't think he has a bedtime. He's a maverick. Sounds familiar. You don't have any... your own? I mean, no, I guess not. I just realized you two come here so often. We chat about all kinds of stuff, but I never thought to ask. About family. We're all the family we need. That's sweet. So, how about that storm upstairs? Did you two get caught in it? I heard it kind of roamed around, uncertain. I'm sure we'll hear all about it tomorrow. Flooding, property damage. Probably killed a few tomatoes. It's got the river churning and everyone heading to the lake here where the water's calmer. I myself don't mind navigating a choppy river, not at all. I got a good feel for it. Plus, it's better for fungal growth. High water consumes the cave moths, and their wet wings clump together in these little balls of nutrient-dense mushroom food, jammed by the current here and there between the rocks. You have never seen a mushroom grow like on a soggy cave moth carcass. Amazing. If I could just get a day off, Val and I would be out there all day tomorrow to harvest. I mean it. They'll be ready by tomorrow. A mushroom will grow just as fast as you can pump water into it. Hey, are you two heading out this way tomorrow? Maybe I could send Val ashore with you for a few hours. She's got a remarkable nose for mushrooms. You wouldn't even need to know what to look for. Put a bag around her neck and she'll just bring them back to you. Yeah! We don't know where we'll be tomorrow. I should have figured. Seems you two are always on the move. It does seem that way. Silence. So, I should get back aboard. No rush, I just want to brew some tea before we get underway. Headed into the station? I thought I'd grab some black coffee for the old man. He's looking a bit waterlogged. Sure. Don't want him falling asleep on you, no. He'll be alright. He seems like the type who can hold his liquor. Seems like he has a little experience, I mean. Hey, while you're in there, could you remind the gas station attendant that this fuel's on my tab? Charge to the Mucky Mammoth. Oh, and Will wanted a scratch ticket. Thanks. Hey! These are the guys who were pushing that biplane that we saw on the road in fucking episode 1. Now they've got the biplane on a goddamn raft. And I still can't interact with them. I think I'll just watch the lake for a bit, ma'am. Looking for crystals? Why do you assume I'm looking for crystals? Well, we've got them on sale. All kinds of folks come in here looking for crystals. There's a few over there with milky white shocks through the middle, like you caught a piece of a cloud. People seem to like those a lot. Yep. Popular crystals. You work on the Mammoth? I can hand it to your tab. Oh, you know the tugboat? The captain, Kate, said I'd have to remind you. Sure, they're here every night. It's okay. I have one of those faces. Forgettable. Does it bother you? I've learned to cherish it. There's a dignity in being forgotten, letting the crowd flow around you unspoiled. I used to live in a city, a real city, Cleveland, Ohio. I had some family money then. I didn't have to work. I lived in hotels. In daylight, I walked wherever the people were. My only duty was to the crowd. I was its observer, its historian, its detective, its poet. Well, the money ran out, and I dispersed with the rest of them. I took my duties with me here to Lake Lethe. Episode 1 callback. Sorry, I couldn't say hello until now. I was fighting monsters in my phone while the cat was demanding pets. That, honestly, I understand those priorities, and I appreciate you dropping in all the same. How's it going, Pegasus? PBS. Lake Lethe and the, Echo River. I live behind this counter. Anonymous, invisible, but I live with dignity. And yourself? No, I don't think so. I'm not alone. Sure, so you say. I say you can travel in company and still be alone. We keep all the crystals on the shelf over there. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser symmetry. The crystals are rough. Dirty. Summer damp. They must have come out of the river. Johnny seemed distant. Traveling with all these people might be like sensory overload for him. Junebug tries to scrape some green algae off a larger specimen, examining it for the kind of cloudy inner formation the attendant said was so popular. It's always just been the two of us on that bike. And a few numbers are woven through the algae. It may be best to just ask him what's on his mind. This isn't algae at all. It's a decayed plastic bag caught on the rock. What do you think of that other dog we've got on board, Val? Blue's a sleepy old hound dog. I know she isn't doing any mushroom hunting, that's for sure. Weird cave fungus growing on soggy moth wings. Sounds kind of romantic, but also kind of gross, right? So, would you like to ride with us for a day? I guess you'd miss Kate, even just for a day. Nah, I guess it's settled anyway. Nice to think about, though. Shit, that floodwater washed you halfway out to sea. I was looking for you down by New Königsberg, same as usual, but ain't nobody there, and the river's deep as an elephant's... Ah, Didn't see you there, ma'am. Pardon my language. What? Elephant? All right. You're no paper flower. I see that. Extending his hand warmly. I expect you must be Loretta. Enchanted to meet you. Sorry, I'm late. Hey, is that coming on a little too flowery or something? Enchanted? Repeating it now, I feel a little silly. I'm not Loretta, but I think you'll do fine with enchanted. Well, thanks for saying so. But now I'm double embarrassed. You picked a funny place to meet. You're probably right about that. I guess I thought it'd be like neutral territory. And we both live on the river. It's not very romantic, though, is it? I met Loretta on the computer. We met each other there, or I guess we spoke through the computer and agreed to meet. I don't know the terminology. I haven't dated in quite a while. Back when I met Greta, that's my wife. Excuse me, my ex. Or maybe I'm her ex? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, back then, there wasn't even such a thing as computers at all. I guess there probably was, but I'd never heard of one. I worked in textiles. So here I am. Didn't work out with Greta. She left me. I'm not sure I can blame her. Damn it all. Guess I probably missed her. I wonder if she'll agree to meet me again. I'm sure she'll understand with the weather and all. Nice of you to say so. Well, I guess I'll head on back. Hey, supposing Loretta doesn't want to see me after all. I'm out of your league. I won't argue with that. Actually, I wanted to ask you for some advice. I had to type up a sort of autobiography for the computer date, and I spent a lot of time on it, but I only got one reply, and that was Loretta herself. I was happy to meet her, but supposing she's lost interest now. You think you can maybe give me some feedback? It was only a paragraph or so. I have it all memorized. I spent so damn long writing it. Okay, here's how it goes. I'm a good-natured man, retired, and spend most of my time sailing the Echo River, riding currents of subterranean gas in that strange, invisible wind that moans out of the small tunnels along the bank. Seeking a companion to map the river with me. I have 2 grown children, but they live far away. No goofballs. Okay, what you think? Why mention your children? Oh, I figure it'll come up somehow. I don't know how people feel about dating with kids. Like I said, it's been a while. Are you embarrassed? Maybe I'm afraid it overstates my age a little. What was that about goofballs? I mean, like, serious inquiries only. You might miss out on some really great goofballs. You may be right about that. You'll be fine. All right, thanks for your help, ma'am. Really renewed my confidence. I'm ready to get back on that computer. You have a good night now. What's left of it, anyway. What's that? It's a crystal. I bought it for you. Wow. Thank you, ma'am. Hey, could you hold on to it for a minute? I'm gonna look around inside. Wish me luck. Good luck. Perspectives shifting. Did my Johnny talk your ear off out here? I suspect there are some things he can only say to animals. I guess that's just how people are. Different thoughts for different listeners. Hey man, how's your night? Quiet. Where are you headed? Helping some new friends make a delivery. Or, along for the ride, anyway. Well, even if you're not doing the heavy lifting or navigating or whatever, a passenger contributes to a journey, too. I never travel, but I do love travelers. That's what I like about this job. The travelers come to me. You meet some interesting people? I wouldn't say that I meet them, but I do sell them gas. Well, let me know if I can help you find anything. Glory it is to be among friends. Suit yourself. What are you so excited about? I can't help it. Every time I step onto that boat alone, I think this could be the very last time. And then every time I come to shore back among people, I think, glory, it is good to be among friends. It helps to keep things in perspective, I guess. It's a ritual of remembrance for me, tonight particularly so. It's my birthday. I am 5 years old. Do you know why I say that? Well, I'm going to tell you. 5 years and some days ago, I set out on the Echo River alone, or so I thought at the time. I was looking for an ice floe. They are occasionally rumored to travel our humble artery on their way from who knows where to who knows where. Who knows why? It is a mystery. An hour into the journey, my lantern gave out. Now I carry 3 or 4 spares. You'll never catch me in the dark again. Lesson learned, buddy. But that night when the lantern went out, I was stuck in the dark. I kept my arm extended, running my fingers along the cave wall, trying to keep my bearings as best I could, and at least make sure I wasn't going in circles. I just prayed I'd find another traveler who knew his way back to the lake, or above ground, or even just a crack in the rock to get a glimpse of moonlight. I had a large bag of apples with me. After a long while, maybe a day, I was getting weak. So I took my hand down from the rock to tear the bag open. Well, when I reached back out, I couldn't find that cave wall anymore, or any other. I was totally unmoored, buddy. Totally adrift. And it was so dark. I started counting the time in apples eaten. I drifted in despair for 4 apples. Then I schemed and planned and dreamed for 2 apples. Finally, I came to accept my fate, lost at sea. And this phase, I think, would have continued indefinitely had I not come down to that very last damn apple. Picture me feeling around in the empty bag, certain that somehow there was another of these fist-sized chunks of life-giving fruit, already softened by time and probably an unappetizing brown. Nope. That was it. Just as I was about to bite into my last meal, I felt a tickle on my upper lip. It hatched right then. Couldn't have been a moment later, or I would have eaten it. My last apple was infected by a damn fruit fly maggot. Well, at least that should have been the end of it. I should have eaten that apple, and that fly while I was at it, and put an end to our little food chain suicide pact. But I waited, out of mercy. After all, this fly was basically a newborn child, right? A gross insect child, but still a child, right? Born into darkness and famine, hungry and alone. I mean, can you imagine that? No other flies out there on the boat, and never would be. No other flies to welcome him into the world. No fly culture, no fly society, no fly history. A true orphan. I started to get depressed just thinking about it all. Worked out a thick tear, I'm not ashamed to say. Well, that fly landed on my cheek right under my left eye, right on that salty teardrop. And then, blinding glory, his ass lit up like a candle. That wasn't a fly, buddy, that was a damn lightning bug. So that's how come I'm here today with you folks. Only because I found my way out of that strange river cave by the dim-lit rear of some orphan insect hatched out of my last rotten apple. Glory, it is good to be among friends. Okay. That guy's a trip, that gas station attendant. Did you talk to him? It's funny. He actually reminds me of that frog we had for a bit. I thought it was a toad. Oh, is there a difference? Yeah, toads are bigger. I don't think that's exclusively true, but go off, Junebug. Huh, I never knew. He seemed more like a cat to me. The attendant, I mean. Oh yeah, I can see that too. Aloof, but strangely chatty. Maybe we should pick up another one. A frog, or a cat, or an iguana, or something. What do you want a pet for? I was just thinking about that old man and his dog. Ever notice how he's talking to his dog? Sort of like he's talking to himself. Yeah, exactly like that. But that's how I feel when I'm talking to you, man. Like I'm talking to myself. And when you're talking to me, I feel like you're talking to yourself. I mean, not literally, but like, that's how we are, who we are, you and me. Feeling lonely, Cricket? Not exactly. Not like that guy in the gas station. That guy lets the world wash over him. Static like a rock, but you and I, you and me both, together, I mean, we're always moving, always changing. I think it's because we feel safe with each other, you know, free. We can try stuff out, change our clothes, swap parts around, just play. I'm not lonely, just curious. With another person to play with, what else could we be? We can keep it in mind. Let's not rush to anything. Yeah, you're right about that, ma'am. No rush. Oh, that's Kate. Time to hit the road. River, I mean. See that small brick building? It used to be an upholstery shop. Now it's inhabited by a very skilled taxidermist whose art is greatly in demand. When it was an upholstery shop, it didn't see nearly as much business. That old shop's name's been lost to time and weather. This was decades ago. And the only trace of it now is the grayed frame of an old sign behind the new lettering, which now reads Trapper, Stalker, and Sportsman. And then below, smaller, no specimen is too exotic, no arrangement too fanciful. Some of the upholstery equipment is still there too, and still sees active use. Elise is the resident artist, though she's not the owner of the shop. It's owned by a reclusive ex-convict named Judah. Very little is known about him. His crime is generally assumed to be violent or otherwise gruesome in some detail, though. Of course, that's all speculation and probably comes from his association with the taxidermy business, even though he never so much as skins a squirrel. He's more like a silent partner. I guess those are the ones you're supposed to keep an eye on. But Judah's old, and he keeps to himself, and the consensus seems to have been that he's paid his debt to society, whatever that debt may have been. Shannon retreated to the TV room to browse the mammoth's video collection. The Mucky Mammoth. The shelves are full of dusty tapes. Some have been relabeled several times, the stickers piling up thick on their spines. Birds! Oh, little crap. Blue-black morning swings across the screen. The birdwatcher tramps through dewy grass. He stops with a wet grunt and rests the camera on a pile of rocks. Birds from Great Distances, Episode 12, appears briefly on screen. He twists the lens by hand, pushing the frame past trees onto the road and coming to a halt, zoomed in on a fuzzy, fist-sized artifact resting on the momentary stroke of a telephone wire. Shannon and the birdwatcher observe. He breathes heavily, and she holds her breath, like she's afraid he might hear, afraid of distracting him or being discovered and contaminating his perfect isolation. Traffic picks up, indifferent. As the sky lightens, the black smudge in the center of the frame gradually becomes more prominent, but never in any greater detail. Not bad. Cat. I mean, mystery tape, obviously. I gotta pick question mark. Though more birds was tempting. It's birds all the way down. That awful hum. It seems to start before Shannon even hits play. Then there's the familiar room. There are the blank, gray walls marked with tape and school desks, and this time she notices a few more details. The murky carpet, like standing water, some video equipment stashed in the corner, a row of lockers. And there's Weaver, looking serenely at the camera. As before, she starts speaking, and as before, there's no sound but that hum. Shannon finds Weaver's words coming back to her as they appear in captions on the screen. Mail, school, and these magnificent, tragic horses. Go underground as deep as you can. The air is cool and the earth is damp, and when you close your eyes, you are surrounded by the dead. Remember where that is? You'll find your way from there. I think this place is what you're looking for. Some of it will wash away soon, but I think you'll be happy here, even without the mail, school. The text repeats for a few minutes, and Shannon stops the tape. Hey, why do you have a tape of that? More birds. More birds. It's raining heavily as the title, Birds from Great Distances, episode 27, flashes on the screen. She knows by the sound, the volley of rainwater on mud, tree branches, the rusted bed of an old pickup, and on the birdwatcher's own skin and hair, He swears under his breath. She can hear the rain there, too, in his wet breath and the wet exclamation of his palm, slopping the water from his forehead and shoulders. The camera is pointed at a cedar shed with one hinged door angling erratically in the storm. From this distance, it's hard to tell if it's been damaged or simply left open. When the door swings wide, she can see that the shed is full of small boards, scraps maybe, or rough-cut pieces meant for very small projects, and then stacked carelessly on shelves, in piles, quickly sorted and then forgotten. And there's the bird, a blue ball taking shelter on the shed floor, nested in scrap wood. Birds again. The video is black. Shannon only knows it's playing because of the cicadas and then birds from great distances, episode 81. The screen isn't totally dark, of course. It's what she thinks of as a video black, a deep, mottled blue, noisy with magnetic decay and the cottony limits of the camera's sensors. It's the black she sees before she goes to sleep, the night black, the eyes shut against the streetlights black. She has more words for it than she expected. She wonders what words the birdwatcher uses for it. She wonders where he is relative to the camera, or where the bird is, for that matter. Enough. Show me more birds! Ah, funeral thing. Fine. Hey, thanks PBS for the more birds. Nope. Sit and watch the video. It's TV time, Shannon. Let's ignore the fact that they had a video of your dead cousin. An elderly couple sit on folding chairs in the middle of a TV studio, undecorated except for a funeral lily in a thin, blue vase on the table. The lights are a bit too dim to make out their features. She reads from a newspaper with unhurried efficiency. Gloria B. of Munfordville passed away on Monday at her residence. Survivors include her children, Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, and Bobby, all of Munfordville. A memorial service will be held at 7 p.m. Thursday at Hatton Huffman Funeral Home in Munfordville, with cremation to follow. She never knew Gloria. He thinks he may have heard the name, wondering aloud if she ever worked at a cafe down there in Munfordville. The woman who ran that place was once called Gloria, or maybe still is. They take a call. Someone who knew Gloria B., if not very well. The caller once installed a satellite dish at Gloria's house, a 900-square-foot ranch-style home on 2 acres at a dead end backed by weeds and pine. When the caller mounted the ladder up to Gloria's roof, she slid open her window and tugged urgently at his pant leg. He followed her gaze behind the house to 2 wild turkeys picking through the weeds. Gloria and the caller watched, silent and still, as the huge birds foraged obliviously into the trees. Then he installed the satellite dish. Sad. Art thing. At first, she thinks the video might be paused, but on closer inspection, she can see the edges of the frame shrinking inward around the chairs, desk, and loose gray furniture of a sterile waiting room. She watches for a while. She's not sure how long. Several minutes? The zoom tightens, so gradually she sometimes forgets it's happening at all. and finally rests on an oscillating desk fan. She ejects the tape before the next part of the triptych begins. Okay. Trivia thing. We're watching all these videos. I don't care what they're doing up there. The words, tip of your tongue, and a phone number are occasionally superimposed on the screen. A few dozen people sit in bleachers, shouting out ideas loosely moderated by a short woman with a microphone and a laser pointer. One caller is trying to remember the name of an old friend she hasn't seen in years. It starts with a consonant. It's full of consonants, actually. There are maybe 1 or 2 vowels. It sounds long, but she doesn't remember having any trouble spelling it at any point. The friend had brown hair? That's probably not helpful. Another caller is trying to remember a verb that means to make oneself vulnerable, something like to expose oneself, but not quite that. To become emotionally, spiritually vulnerable, like with a lover or a poem. A third caller just knows there was something he was supposed to do tonight. He offers some biographical background, a narrative of his day. He's unemployed, has no real hobbies, and has already eaten. Few ideas from the bleachers. Lordy. That sounds like the worst game show I've ever seen. Weather. The on-screen title identifies this program as The History of Weather, Volume 3, Drought. Over footage of a dry riverbed, the program's narrator explains the differences between modern drought and ancient drought. The narrator proposes that modern drought may hardly be considered weather at all, since its severity and behavior are so influenced by human activity. Boring. I hate weather. No, god damn it. Any more? Science! It looks like Will, though much younger, reclined on a sofa and taking calls. His arm draped over the back of the couch holds a bottle of something clear. People call in with stories of their encounters with the supernatural. Will offers little commentary or response. He acknowledges them. Sometimes he interrupts to clarify or repeat something back to them. Mostly he just listens and pulls from that clear glass bottle. A handmade banner strung above the couch reads, "I believe you." Will? Any more? Shopping! A woman sits at a card table with a lamp, notepad, and a beige multi-line telephone. A scrolling marquee reads, "Swap shop, buy, sell, trade," or "Want to buy, call the broker," and then a phone number repeating without pause. Eddie has fresh eggs to trade for a basil plant. A dozen eggs for one plant, which is a steal. Eddie's eggs are good eggs. Sadie has a bag of fine shells. No reasonable offer will be refused. Christopher is looking for a scrub plane in decent shape. It doesn't have to be too nice, just something to get a tabletop near to flat It doesn't have to be too nice, just something to get a tabletop near to flat from some oak that's been air drying in a barn for 20 maybe 30 years. And while it's true he could get the job done without it, since he's got a nice, heavy jack plane his grandfather used to use, he'd just as soon not fuss with grinding a camber onto it. And anyway, he has a little extra capital from a swap earlier in the week and wouldn't mind putting it down on a decent scrub plane before the cash burns a hole through his pocket. Carla is looking to trade typing services for Carla is looking to trade typing services for calligraphy services, or vice versa. The broker takes notes and switches lines, but never speaks, drunk on the hum of commerce. Fun. She steps away from the tapes and wipes the dust from her hands. Nothing more to watch. No, it was only a few notes, slow and sad. Like funeral music, you know? I don't remember it being sad, just simple and unburdened. Maybe that's what funeral music sounds like to me, unburdened. Oh, hello. Kate and I were just trying to remember the Mammoth song. But neither of us have heard it for years. We'll just find the mechanism. In the mammoth's belly, hidden in the gritty matted fur. It's like a big music box, slowly spinning cylinder covered in metal pins that pluck her dulcet guts and pump the bellow in her bowels. But some of the pins are rusted and worn away, easy to replace if we ever can remember what the notes were. Did I hear you browsing the archive next door? Find anything good? I found something pretty unsettling, actually. Oh dear. I don't even know what's on half those tapes anymore. They used to be all movies and that kind of stuff. I like nature documentary especially. Some people left home movies or little art videos they'd made, but the damn VCR devours anything you leave in it. It just switches into record mode at random. I think it picks up whatever's coming in over the antenna. Of course, the only station we get down here is that WEVP, community television, you know. They got that show with the gentleman playing banjo in his birthday suit. I'm sure you've seen it. Oh, yes. And if there's no tape in the machine when it tries to start recording, it makes this awful sound like putting a squeaky toy in a food processor. I can hear it above deck. Awful. That's why I put the sign up. Please do not rewind after watching. At least that way nothing gets taped over anymore. You were in one of the videos. I believe you, it said. Where was that taped? You had a TV show? I never knew. No, I don't believe I ever have. The title sounds familiar, but more like it's something I heard about, like secondhand information. They let anybody on there. That's the whole idea. Community television, or public access, they call it. I wouldn't say it's possible that I did the show you... I would say it's possible that I did the show you saw and then forgot. Wouldn't be the first time. Studio? No, I can't say I remember where WEVP is. Sorry. You should meet Dashel. He did a lot of volunteer work for the WEVP in the early days, wiring up antennas and relays, stuff like that. I think you two would have a lot to talk about. He works at the telephone exchange. No, I'm afraid he's been let go. Oh yeah? That's odd. He still takes the ferry to work every day. I'm sure he's at the old telephone exchange right now, in fact. I dropped in there a few hours ago. We're stopping at the telephone exchange again shortly to deliver their mail and pick up their trash. You should go ashore when we do. Ask for Dashel. Ask for my cat. I rarely miss a chance to lounge on the beach around the rum colony, and I do enjoy a drink. Though I don't find their signature liquor suits me. But this time I elected to stay aboard, shoot the breeze with Kate over some mineral water. But still, I heard reports. Heard the old man went a little deeper in his cups. Not at all surprising. He seemed to have some momentum, and Patch mixes up some pretty magnetic drinks. Oh, if we're talking about the rum colony, I should tell you about Patch. He's the bartender, general manager, creative director. I guess that means he books the music. He's pretty much run the place for the last 7 years. A lot of folks assume he owns it, but that's not the case. The rum colony is owned by a dead man named Vernon. Technically, it would be owned by the power company, who once bought a sizable interest from Vernon as part of a state-sponsored investment program. But a clause in that arrangement requires them to keep their hands off the day-to-day and most of the profits, so long as Vernon walks this earth. The upshot of that is that nobody came forth to identify the body. Patch is a good guy, though. Kind, trustworthy, and mixes a strong Mai Tai if that's your thing. Let's hang out with the dogs. Valkyrie and Blue lounged below deck. I think that's the dog and the cat. Act 4, Scene 4. The Mucky Mammoth. Dogs. Oh, Val. Yeah, Valkyrie. Blue and Valkyrie. 2 dogs. Hanging out. That's it. That was the whole scene. I guess. Well, those 2 gentle beasts kept things under control aboard the Mucky Mammoth. I went ashore with the rest of the crew to make use of a public telephone. I called into my answering machine, which I routinely neglect for intervals of months to chip away at the pile. Kate checked in on a client of hers. She's a birth doula in addition to being a tugboat captain. Did you know that? Clara talked to her sister in Lithuania. Illness in the family, I gather. Anyway, the evening hit a low point, not much later on, so let's take a quiet moment here to listen to the river and reflect on the unburdened sleep of dogs. Reflect on your favorite dog. Think about them, sleeping, curled up, untroubled. You all know a dog like this, a dog that you can see, the dog in your mind dog. Contemplate, unburden yourself like they unburden yourself in their dreams. Be like the dog. Meditate upon it. Shannon Ezra, the old... No, I want to see the kids' card game. Ezra taught us a card game. This card game's gonna be fucking nonsense. Calvin Ball shit, I bet. Got that mind dog in ya? Let the mind dog eat. Clara draws a card. 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Kate draws a card. 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Clara to Kate. What are we listening to? Oh, just this tape a friend of mine sent me. They live in the desert. Vekinks? Something like that. Sounds good on the Mammoth's PA. Yeah, that's the only way I listen to anything lately. Your turn, buddy. Ezra draws a card. Nine gray feathers, 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Will draws a card. 9 gray feathers. Stay focused. No, I got it. 7 blue petals and 5. Oh no, it was 973. This game is more difficult than it sounds, my friend. You still did pretty good. And we only got how many cards in now? 5 or something? I assume it'll go to 52. It goes until everyone forgets a card. That could go on a long time then. Well, not with this crowd, I guess. We're all too soggy-brained. I know I am. I even take homemade supplements for it. Shade-grown lichen, boiled with the peel of a lemon, then frozen and crushed with oak leaves. It's a scalp massage oil. You can smell it if I get close. It dries the brain out a bit, which is helpful for good memory. If I can remember to use it often enough in the first place. Oh, don't worry, the soggy brain has its benefits too. If your brain's soft and damp, new ideas can make a clear impression like a boot in wet sand. But, like wet sand, it can easily get muddied and washed away. So there's a trade-off, see? It's a shame we can't have it both ways, isn't it? What's this game called, Ezra? Forgetting game. Kate likes to give her passengers the opportunity to make some floating around money. And that lab pays cash in small envelopes upon completion of their little gauntlet of non-invasive tests. It's a project of the university. I think they're studying... I don't remember. The Mammoth also collects their trash, mostly shredded paper, though Kate says they once left half a vending machine on the dock. But nobody seemed too interested in the lab stop that night. They all stayed aboard and played a card game. I read a book. Let me tell you about it. It takes place it's set in a small town in the Pacific Northwest. The town is never named, but it's colorfully described. Woolly fog, broken coastline, provincial shopkeepers. The main characters are all male characters. They're co-workers, Mimi and Jen. Mimi's older than Jen, but they seem to be at the same point in their lives. They like their work, they have a playfully antagonistic relationship with their boss. I actually only read a bit from the middle. Mimi confides in her friend about a traumatic event from her past. I don't know what the event was exactly. I guess I would know if I'd started from the beginning, like the writer probably wanted me to, but I've never found that way of reading suited me very well. Death of a loved one, I think, something like that. In my life's work as the Echo River's premier anecdotalist, I've always found that a carefully exerted moment is more powerful than any epic history. That's my excuse anyway for reading books from the inside out. So I stopped there. My eyelids were getting heavy and we were headed back to the lake and a chance encounter with the Iron Pariah. All right, we're gonna do our mid-roll ad here. However, in order to keep pre-rolls off, we got to run one ad halfway through. So gonna take a 3-minute break. Grab a drink, use the restroom. We will be back in about 3 minutes. I myself am going to take this opportunity to go AFK. I'll see you all in a moment. Hello, everyone. Nope. We back. We back. And soon we shall resume. I think we're gonna try to keep staying on the boat. I don't know why. I want to see what happens when bro takes a nap. Are we just gonna get another brief scene of the dog sleeping? Am I skipping a bunch of content? I've been on these places before. I disembarked on all of these at some point. But there's something really funny I find about never getting off the ship. I like all this detritus floating around down here. Hello everyone, welcome back. The game is back, and now it's time to take a nap. Sometimes a guy just needs a nap, right? I took a nap. Act 4, Scene 6. The Mocky Mammoth. Hey, just a quick one here. I'm going ashore to do some mushroom hunting. This little island's my favorite spot, and I figured we're already running late. What's one more unscheduled stop? I just need to find Will and get him up here and keep an eye on things, you know? I bet he's asleep. Did you run down and wake him up for me? Bunks are down on the lower level, right next to the map room. Thanks. You ever just record a shrieking mammoth? Yeah, this is fine. This is normal. Hey, there he is. There's our guy. Oh, yeah, let's record him snoring. That's funny. A recorded lecture plays from a tape machine next to Will's bunk. And even hinted that he had in his mind a design for this device, as recorded in the Diary and Sundry Observations. Why should personalities in another existence or sphere waste their time working a little triangular piece of wood over a board with certain lettering on it? The whole business seems so childish to me. If we are to make any real progress in psychic investigation, we must do it with scientific apparatus. Again, for Edison, a technical solution to every problem. He goes on to suggest parameters of the apparatus and... Yes? A question in the back, James? Student, indistinguishable. Yes, this idea of personalities lingering after death does appear to be in conflict with Edison's theories about what he called life units, the subatomic entities that animate matter and then scatter to other configurations when a person passes on. But given Edison's emphasis on memory in cognition, remember, we're talking about the inventor of the phonograph, and his colorful description of the swarm of interchangeable drone-like, Edison even uses the word proletarian, life units among animating the human mind, his theory naturally posits that any individual life unit possesses on its own some fragment of memory. So according to Edison, when life units recombine from, say, a soldier into, say, a flower, we may be able, using some apparatus, to coax out from the flower memories of war. The tape stops. Will wakes up. Oh, hello, small man. You caught me in my pre-dawn nap? I try to sleep in little nibbles when I can. It maximizes my time in the threshold states. What were you listening to? Well, I used to work at a university, and I'd always eavesdrop on lectures through the ventilation system. Anything and everything. I'm a polymath by nature. An old friend recently found this box of tape-recorded lectures next to the dumpster there, and passed them on in the spirit of fondly recalling better days. This one is... Will looks at the label on the tape. History of the Philosophy of Death. Yikes. I play these old tape lectures during my little nibble naps to absorb the information more easily. It's pretty effective. I wish I could do everything half asleep. Can't say I learned very much just now, though. I may have been too busy dreaming. A vivid, narcotic fantasia about the... But those are always the quickest to dissipate. I better tell you about it now before the spell's broken. Will takes a deep breath, focusing on the task of recalling his dream. I was small, not a child, an animal maybe. Sorry, give me one second. Sorry, I'm trying to coordinate some stuff with traveling to Florida that I have to do this weekend for a funeral. So I just got a text that I wanted to answer while I was still thinking about it. I patrol the corridors of a great iron ship, searching for scraps and mice, I think. and crying, always a weak and mournful mew. Other crewmen slumped in odd corners or lay drunk on the deck. The halls smelled of shame, defeat, and rot-gut corn whiskey. They dumped artillery into the water, tore their flags into cloth scraps, and made handkerchiefs to bury their sobbing faces. They drifted on Lake Lathe, drinking the cold black water and eating eyeless fish, raw, when they at last ran out of cooking fuel. They seemed in their despair to forget even language. After an interval of years, the ship crossed a threshold in absolute silence. Silence except for my hopeless, whimpering cry. Anyway, that's all I remember. Lately, I never remember my dreams. Huh. Probably for the best. The images of dreams are often wasted on the waking. Well, I got a stew to start. You may want to hurry back above deck. I believe we're about to pass by the Bat Sanctuary. It's quite a thing to see. I love the line, the images of dreams are often wasted on the waking. Kate came back from her mushroom hunting excursion with a small basket full of oddly colored caps and stems. No doubt delicious to a morsel. Of course, she intended to use many of them in her medical practice to ease the pain, nausea, and anxiety of pregnant women. But I can usually rely on my charms to snare a bite or two. I have no preference when it comes to mushrooms. I have no preferences when it comes to mushrooms, by which I mean that I treat them all interchangeably. I prefer not to know their names or qualities before I cook them up and eat them. It's useless after all. They escape your erudition, as the fella says. That's a good mushroom hunting island, I guess. It's plenty damp, and they got the cypress trees there to grow on. Of course, they're not indigenous, the cypress trees, I mean. Everyone down here seems to agree that they were planted as some kind of a marker or memorial, and most people will tell you that they got a distant relationship or an acquaintance who helped dig a hole or water a seedling. But nobody remembers what it was all for, and nobody left a plaque or anything. It's a shame. Looks like it must have been a lot of work. Well, at least we have the trees. And the mushrooms. Mushroom, mushroom, mushroom. Nah, we're going out into the Bat Sanctuary. I'm violating my law here. That's far more interesting. Shannon and her friend set out in the dinghy to deliver a package to the telephone exchange. Act 4, Scene 7. Echo River Central Exchange. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the bats. I usually send Will, but I thought you'd like the chance to meet Dashel. He's the guy who worked at the TV station, WEVP. So you'll pass through the Bat Sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or excuse me, the Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. Ah, shit! Pizza time! Getting distracted by... Meet Dashel. Good news. It's time to meet Dashel, everyone. The executive producer. Buddy. I hear you. Hear you moving. Yeah, there you are. Hi. Were you asleep? Hi. Yeah. You've been blessed by Scoop. And you are Scoop. It's time to meet Dashel. There he is. A good boy. Hard at work. Anyway, they changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the Bat Sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in just before the Bat Sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to say it. Just check it out. Okay, bye. Perfect timing for when Dash left too. Okay, bye. Is this the sculpture? This big fucking X? Oh, it's a bunch of miners' helmets. We claim these helmets in the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers' and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, and swept through the hidden tunnels into some awful cave we will never find. And so we guess the water buried them for us. So let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Hey, Elkhorn. That's the name of the mine we met in, where your folks, worked. Looks like it's been here a while. Sure as hell wouldn't want to mess with it. You think whoever wrote this is still that angry? Sure, angry. Mainly just hurt. Yeah. Everybody's got their own way, I guess. This probably stirs up... I mean... How do you... It brings back some anger for me, too. Yeah, that's understandable. I guess that's what a memorial should do, huh? Help you hang on to your feelings. Otherwise, they fade away. That's just what time does. Whoop. Skeletons. Heidi-ho. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Are you feeling okay? Oh, sure. Doesn't hurt anymore. My leg, just kind of numb. Like it's not there. My shoulder, too, actually. That's an old one, though, from an accident. I'm lucky I just had some nerve damage there. It Probably should have been a lot worse. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier that they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together on a plan, consolidate it. That sounds like a really bad idea. Oh, I don't know. They seem to have a lot of experience with this kind of stuff. They got a whole process figured out. Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even this delivery? Yeah, we're almost there, right? Hell, at this point, I bet we could just take off the parking brake and that truck would roll into 5 Dogwood Drive by itself. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Lizette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much. But somehow Liz got it in her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did, or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery, and now that the antique shop is closing up, I got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. That's very generous, but I don't need a truck. You could drive it around while you figure out what's next. Hell, you could sleep in it if you need to. It's big enough. Well, just think about it anyway. You'd be doing me a favor, you know? One less thing to deal with. Visitors to the Echo River Lopsided Brown Bat Artificial Hibernaculum and Sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothing, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure that you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Hey, so suddenly giving away your possessions to people is definitely not a flag of any sort. No, certainly not. Certainly it hasn't been a flag since the beginning of this with just one last job. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The lopsided brown bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract or confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax, stop your vehicle, and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. I'm not sure I know how to control this fucking boat. Do not panic. It's not like they're the main vector of rabies in the United States. Certainly not. Bat fact. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high-frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millionths of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep on clicking away even when they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. Sometimes it's hard to know with people, too. Oh yeah, like, how about this weather? I guess there are layers to it, right? Sometimes you just need to get the other person talking so you can check their body language or hear what their voice sounds like. Find out if they're friendly or angry or drunk. Bat fact! The lopsided brown bat's natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, which we call the little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects the lopsided brown bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so. We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the lopsided brown bat normally hunts to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Echo River on the shores of Lake Leith. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on the subterranean agriculture, we collect that precious guano here at the hibernaculum and manually distribute it throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. They eat fake moths? Yeah, hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths. The little gray nothing moth. Well, a lot of people eat fake food, right? Food taken apart and then they put it back together so it looks and tastes like something they remember eating before, even if they never really did. It kind of bothers me. Like they're tricking the bats. Yeah. In this case, I think it's about survival. I mean, if that's the bottom line, what's the difference? Like, the folks in the mine. You said they used to buy stuff, fans, canaries, all those little trinkets to make it bearable. There's still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered, but human. I just mean, all people need is enough to pretend we're home, and we can make it anywhere. Sure, people can, but what about bats? Maybe we'll have to teach them. Hell, what am I saying? I know 100% more on the subject of bats now than I did when we came down here. Why is there an umbrella? Why are there multiple umbrellas? Where are my bat facts? I want more bat facts. Oh, bat fact. And a radio. White nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth, which appears on bats' faces and wings, irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly and is highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorder as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the lopsided brown bat be two more lost species wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten to natural history? possible that a cure won't be identified in time, so the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River, Lopsided Brown Bat Hibernaculum and Sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. The phrase hibernaculum is really good. I want to be in a hibernaculum. Oh, hey, power lines. It's a good word, right? Oh, look at this old man. Electronic old men running the world. A new age. Oh, hi. I remember you. What are you doing down here? I'm just exploring. I like dark underground places. I'm a romantic. So am I think. Yeah, you'd have to be to hang out down here. Okay, bye. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. You too. Try not to make any more bad deals while I'm gone. I'll just be floating along down here. I just mean keep your eyes open and don't look back. There he is, Dashel. Would be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. Are you Dashel Morse? I mean me? Yes, I'm him. Sorry, I've been hacking on this thing all night. My thoughts are starting to come in alternating currents. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are still quite a few of them in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself. I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true, they had bats then too, but they were considered a nuisance. Train station? What happened to it? Well, the river shifted and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river. I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed. Even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime, running the telephone wires behind enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. I missed that, actually. They were easier to climb. It's just as well. I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up the wiring in the crystal room for the WEVP folks. Excuse me. Did you ever know a girl named Weaver? Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny. I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple of times at the train station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives, and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all that gear. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo, and there's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything, just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. Plaque. Abel and Eloise, the lovers' couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft. But old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of pockets, and deliver them to other people nearby to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation, and that's where we left them.
Just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does this parcel claim to be from?
Shannon. Reading label. That's weird. There's no label on it.
Well, if we're lucky, it's chocolates from a secret admirer and not a snake from an assassin. So who are you? Do you work for the post office or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall?
Yeah, I just met Dashel.
He's been working on that obsolete ringer, hasn't he? Poor Dashel. You know, he's not really... He was let go a while back. A long while, actually. When they started restructuring, he was one of the first to go. But he talked them into letting him come every day and fiddle with some interminable project. He says it's to keep a long gap from growing on his resume, but I think he just has nothing better to do. One of those old men who needs to work, you know? Doesn't know how to be any other way. Well, there are no real jobs here, but they're fake jobs, I guess. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Mag, Kara, Marie, Lois, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college, and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming, and I hear she did just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Jaina, and Sachiko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had down here at one time. The power company came along buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing. Nothing! And they started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Lois left one Friday evening and were asked not to come back Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall. Dinner's just about ready, so I must go, but I'm glad I was able to stick around for Bat Facts. Thanks for dropping by all the same, Pegasus Bat Spider, and I hope you have a lovely dinner. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private PBX. They had Jaina and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sachiko and Wilma were moved to energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least tonight's dinner is Bacon Mac? Hell yeah, Bacon Mac rules. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. Sounded pretty good to me. He's got the voltage too high. He'll burn out the relay. So where was I? Extended switchboard technique. It was all about timing your breath. Some girls got lightheaded doing too many calls in a row with that upbeat dynamic inflection they made us use to keep everything intelligible. It was very physical. So after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch Number 30. If it's automated, what do you do here? It's not fully automated. There are still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And you know, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. And while we're talking, we're touching. Even on the phone. That's an electric touch, an intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays, but then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades around the specific tempo of its human operators, so short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they'd have to go work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that officially is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange, once the work of 12. I'd like to remind you. And they have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator lights switch on, and I make the connection. Interesting. What's the machine like? Oh, it's funny. I've never actually seen it. They told me just to carry on patching while it collects and collates in the background until it's ready to take over. Huh. There's a dark thought. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? You're not a machine. Nice of you to notice. I'm on the Echo River Central Exchange, and I'll carry a torch for the voice with a smile. But at least I'm keeping some part of it human, right? Even if it's not the best part. Oh, the parcel. Right over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. Hey, there were only 2 skeletons in that boat before. Now there are 3. And Conway is gone. Yay! Ba-dum-bum! It's a real skeleton crew down here! Nice one, Scoop. Anyway, Conway is just straight up gone. He will never be back. He left. This is where he exits the story. Our very first protagonist, gone.
She returned on the dinghy alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where that impulse came from. So she did her best to resist it. She met a flower salesman on a raft. They floated alongside buoyant pots, bobbing untethered. He corralled them with a long pole and a stream of small adjustments. She leaned out over the water to get a closer look. He'd just started work for the day, so his stock was full. He pushed a few bouquets her way. First was an elaborate bundle of pomegranates arranged in the Roman style. He said it was for a particular kind of person. If it didn't remind her of anyone specific, she better move on. Next, a delicate mixture of dandelions. He was feeling distracted when he first designed it, but some customers found it hopeful. Finally, an elaborate mixture of snapdragons made to look domestic. He suggested it would make an appropriate apology bouquet. He drifted away with the current, pushing his flowers along with the raft. She met a guitar player pedaling on a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. He said they took turns. The water was cold and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for the both of them. Swimming is hard work. The hardest work that dog had ever done, he expected. They'd been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through the icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a leather guitar case at the end of a thin rope. It floated pretty well, so he only had to keep an eye on it and was occasionally free it from a rock or some driftwood it was caught on. She asked if he had a guitar in his case or just clothes. He would have played her something, but the case leaked a bit and he didn't think it would sound right until it had time to dry out. She met a family of 5 on a flat-bottom skiff. The boat was loaded to capacity with black plastic bags and a few larger pieces of furniture wrapped in a blue tarp. 3 paddled, the 2 adults and the older child. The 2 younger children slept. They'd been traveling all night, first by car and then for the last few hours by boat. Hungry and tired, they didn't plan to stop until they reached West Virginia, where a relative had offered to take them in. But the adults were happy to take a break from paddling in weary silence. They asked her about her river journey. She told them about the memorial. They were sympathetic. No minors in their family, but he was once injured at a warehouse job and had to fight for disability pay. They knew what those companies were like, and what it was like to have to assert your humanity to them. They wished her well, and paddled on towards West Virginia. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated for a while. Then she knew what she'd been craving. A moment of silence. Act 4, Scene 8. Sam and Ida. Zzz. Just in time. We already finished eating, but we're about to place a to-go order for Clara. She's back on board, getting ready for her show. Take a look at the menu. I'm sure there's something you'll like. Ida's a bit of a local celebrity for her cooking, I mean. Hey, Ezra was just asking about you. He's around the corner playing a video game. Maybe go let him know you two are back. Or, where's the old man, anyway? Oh, bad luck. You'll get it next time. Hey, got a quarter? He's almost got this. It's true. Sure, I have 1 quarter. Thank you. So, where's... They took him. Damn. Yeah, he really got himself into a situation there. Yeah. I'm gonna go sit down. Cool. The food's good here. I think everybody else is finishing up, but you could probably get something to go. All right, Claw Maestro, let's give it another shot. So, let's see what's on the top of the pile. Here, there's a stuffed octopus, a plastic bag full of clamshells, a cowboy hat, and some big headphones. That octopus has a leg wrapped around the boombox underneath it. The shells are pretty clear, but I don't know if the claw can really grip that bag well. Cowboy hat's in a corner, so it's kind of tricky to tell if it's wedged in there or not. Those headphones might be a good bet, but I can't see the cord. It could be wrapped around something. What are you trying for? I'll try to get the headphones. Good call. I think that's our best bet. Okay. I put this quarter in, you'll have about 8 seconds to grab your prize. The headphones are on the right, pretty close to the middle. Let me know if you need help lining it up. I got a slightly different view of the field from here. Ready? Here we go. Johnny inserts the coin, and the machine awakens. 8. The claw hovers in the front left corner of the machine. Ezra pushes the joystick right. 7. The claw hovers halfway across the front of the machine. The claw hovers in the front right corner of the machine. The claw hovers along the right wall of the machine. Does this look right? Yeah, it looks good to me. Go for it. Ezra pushes the button to drop the claw. The claw drops. It grabs the headphones. The claw's grasp seems unusually weak on this round, and the headphones tumble back out before they can be retrieved. Oh, you were robbed. I guess the house always wins, except on Tuesdays. A friend of ours always said that. I never really knew what he meant. Oh well. Hey, listen. Sounds like that old man you were following around. I guess he had to leave. Is he coming back? Well, probably not. He's got himself on a trajectory, you know? Anyway, I don't know what kind of plans you have now, but if you need help figuring out your next move, you can always talk to me and Miss Junebug. I just want to make sure you know that. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Me neither. You're in good company. Hey, maybe we still have time to poke around this place a little. They have some pretty wild stuff in here. Hey, did you see this? They keep a table full of fake food over here. I've never known why. Actually, I think it might be real food coated with shellac or something. Preserved? Oh, and look, this tentacle-looking thing is half-eaten. This is someone's meal that they didn't finish. I dare you to take a bite. You first. Okay. Whoa, hold on. I'm just kidding. If Sam and Ida preserved this half-eaten meal, it must have been pretty important to them, right? Maybe it belonged to someone they care about, like a beloved uncle had a mid-meal stroke, so they kept it in his memory.
My folks left behind a bag of sunflower seeds, but I threw that away. I should have kept it, right?
Oh, no, I didn't mean that, kid. You don't need to hang on to every little memento. I'm sure you still remember them just fine. Are you worried about them?
No, they're gone. There's nothing to worry about. I just missed them.
Okay. Well, I don't know what the deal is with this table, but sometimes people do weird stuff just because they miss someone.
Weird. Somehow I thought it was his truck and delivery and all. It was. That's what she's saying, but he gave it to her before they took him away.
But you're gonna deliver it anyway?
Why?
He's my friend. He needs my help to finish his job.
That's right. He's our friend, too. Johnny and I will help you unload when we get there. Lift with your legs, Cricket.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how was everything? How was the sweet cave snail? Devastating. You're a killer, Ida. Well, I can't take all the credit. Sam came across a whole cave snail colony down there about a year back, and we've been leaving rock candy for them to gorge on since. We just started harvesting earlier this month. Yes, it's all about patience down here. Everything grows more slowly in the dark. There's a fish in Lake Leith that lives to 200 years. And its flavor profile only develops at about 75. I got a pot of bones in there that's been stewing for at least a week. I don't even remember why I put them on. Come to think of it, I don't even remember what kind of bones they are. Oh, we need one for the road.
Wrong person.
Oh, we need one for the road.
Clara said she wanted something primordial, she said. What does that mean? Kate reviews the menu. Maybe she meant something old-fashioned?
Could be.
Kate hands Shannon the menu.
Here, you pick. I'm no good at this.
Shannon inspects the menu. Maybe blind prawn cakes with cranberry butter sauce.
Good choice. Your friend will love it. I'll have that right out, sweetie.
Ezra leans over the table carefully and examines the preserved food and drinks. He prods a half-eaten tentacle. The tentacle is solid and fixed in place.
We used to steam those. Juicy. But I prefer them smoked now. I'm sorry I startled you, sweetie. Whose food is this? This is the diver's table, and this was the diver's meal. This food is about 15 years old, it's true. Things were different then. Nobody came to eat here. We were fighting just to keep the lights on. Sam, my husband Sam, was depressed. He couldn't catch anything, and that was part of the problem. Most of what we served was shipped in frozen or dried, and I just threw it in the fryer. We both come a long way since then. Well, 2 young men came in for dinner, seasoned divers, they said. Over 2,000 hours between them in the Lake Levy alone. They'd been out all day, salvaging parts from a riverboat wreck. And they had worked up a fierce hunger, they said. They ordered the whole menu without even looking. It was a short menu in those days. I sat them right here and went back to the kitchen. Sam was at the next table doing a Sudoku and drinking malt liquor, his usual routine at the time. An hour later, I was cleaning up when Sam came bursting into the kitchen. Ida, he says, kind of frantic, these divers are still hungry. Bring them another course. And I said, they already ordered the whole menu. Sam said, make something new. Keep making up dishes, whatever. Just keep bringing out food. So I did until the small hours of the morning. I made up so many new dishes that night I could write a book, and it was good, inspired. But I was working so hot and fast at the burning edge of inspiration, I didn't think to write any of it down. And I was so wrecked with exhaustion the next day, I knew I couldn't remember all I'd done in the kitchen. Sam thought we could take a photograph of the leftovers, but we couldn't get the lighting right, so we just shellacked the whole table. Now when I need inspiration for the menu, I come and look here and think about all those ingenious dishes I threw together for those divers. Of course, they didn't pay their full bill. I heard one of them complaining to the other, let's just pay half and let them charge the other half to whatever demon in the kitchen kept making food faster than we could ask for it. But it all worked out. Things have really turned around since then. This place is actually pretty popular now. The success and our expanded menu inspired Sam, too. He started bringing back the most magnificent ingredients from his nightly dives. I'd better get back to work. Stay right here, sweetie, and I'll bring you a treat on my way back out.
I think we're almost done with this scene. And then we wrap. The old man and the fish.
Well, buddy, I guess you're the catch of the day, the one and only. So what are you? You look like, well, some kind of fish, I guess. Kind of a mopey little guy, huh? Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. You smell like sort of buttery. Well, that should be just fine. Skin feels like sandpaper. Well, she'll figure something out. I think I'll call you Spaghetti Fish. Welcome to Sam and Ida's, the one and only Spaghetti Fish. I hope you enjoy your stay. I mean, not too much. Have you ever seen a creature like me before? You were pretty far down there. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the first. Except there were 2 divers who went in before me long ago. Maybe that was before your time. How old are you anyway, I wonder? They ate here once back in the bad old days. Excuse me. 2 young guys, could have been brothers maybe. I was over in the corner with my coffee and crossword. I hadn't been able to catch a thing, so Ida just fried up something from Frozen. Well, these guys were hungry enough to eat it and ask for more, and they did at least as much talking as eating. See, like I said, they were divers. And like I said, they might have been brothers. They had a kind of rivalry going between them or something. Ida was about to write up their check, but I slipped calmly and quietly into the kitchen for a minute and told her to just keep bringing out the food. I figured they wouldn't notice, caught up in their boasting, as they were, and I wanted to listen. They went back and forth for hours, all the deep and dangerous dives they'd been on, new tunnels they'd discovered, all the weird creatures they'd encountered at the weirdest depths of the Lake Lethe. It was like a dance. No, like a boxing match, each story deeper than the last. And I listened to every word of it, memorized every description of every tunnel and diving route they'd discovered. That's my map now, you see. For 15 years, I've been using routes those 2 young divers discussed right here at that table. Yeah, I could write a guidebook to the depths of this lake, but I don't dare. Someone would steal my good diving spots, and then where would we be? See, people come here from all over just to try our daily catch because they know it's unique. Ain't you proud? Since I can't write any of it down, I just preserved that table where they had their meal so I can look at it to jog my memory. They were eating pickled crab when they talked about that shipwreck full of salamanders. Pretty clever, huh? It's my own secret code. Well, I'll be straight with you, Spaghetti Fish. There is one feature of this arrangement that I find unsettling. I lose a decent amount of sleep over it. I told you those boys were competing, right? One-upping each other, I mean, each getting wilder and more adventurous as they traded tales. Well, I navigate mostly in the dark down there, just going by touch, and a kind of mental picture I can construct from their detailed boasts. And every time I explore a new diving spot from those recollections, I have to weigh it all against the risk that I'm headed right into a dangerous falsehood. One of those men could have felt for a moment like he was losing some ground in their little duel, so he could have slipped a fake one in there, maybe told a fib about some dive he went on and found a colony of blind shrimp living in a discarded refrigerator. And when I get down there, my diving bell cracks open on a sharp rock, where he said a fridge would be, and that's the end of Sam of Salmonidas. To be honest, that possibility puts the fear of death in me every time I touch water.
Hey, Sam. Good haul tonight?
We'll see what she can make of it. Yeah, pretty good, I think. I hit some trouble down by the narrow tunnel. Some kind of fast-growing freshwater barnacles just about sealed it up. I picked away for half an hour before I gave up and went around the other way. I got the catch of the day, and that's the important part.
What's the catch of today?
This here's a spaghetti fish. Mopey, sandpapery old fish. I don't know how she fix him, but that sandpapery quality must do something for... what do they call it? Mouthfeel? Will you stay for a drink? I've got a dark rum that goes well with coffee.
I think we're about to leave, but thanks.
Just passing through. Hey, aren't we all? Oh, she's got your food ready. You all enjoy your meal, all right? And you come back to Salmonidas.
This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures and my hopes are
Goodbye, spaghetti fish.
beyond the blue. Many friends and kin
I will never forget you, spaghetti
have
fish.
gone on before, and I can't feel at home.
Why did he name it the spaghetti fish? It had nothing to do with spaghetti.
Anymore.
I think Sam's crazy.
Oh, Lord,
She returns to the tugboat.
you know I have.
But that is where we're going to kill it today. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it as always. You know, I appreciate every single person who comes and shows up, as I have said many times and before. And nothing I'm seeing to throw you guys to. So, I think I'm just gonna let you all go today. As always, gonna be here next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and we're getting close to the end of Kentucky Route Zero, and then I got a couple of other things that I'll line up there. Getting close to the end of Pathologic, and then we'll move on to Pathologic 3, I think. And yeah, so look forward to some fun stuff coming in the future. But as usual, we ran a little over. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it all, and have a lovely rest of your Thursday evening. Goodbye, everyone. Hey, if you stuck around to the end of the video, I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope that you enjoyed. If you want to help support me in making more of this, you can follow me on Twitch, where I stream these live. Like, comment, and subscribe. I suspect you all know how this works by now, but it really does help a lot. Thanks.